Make sure you feed the cats and tell my students to read.
It is disrespectful to leave the dead person alone in his or her last few minutes of life. Then the mourner should place a candle at the deceased person's head.
I'm sorry for the time I lied to you.
Then all the mirrors in the house of the deceased are covered to show respect to the dead and to help rid beauty from the house. Then psalms are recited. As you can see, there is no unnecessary human functions. This is out of respect for the dead, because the dead cannot do these themselves. Any conversation should be positive remarks about the deceased.
She was such a great mom. Hello? Hello, Alexa? You need to come here right away. Mom died.
From the time of death to the time of burial, the deceased must always be accompanied by someone.
Hello, Rabbi Horowitz? Yes, it's Masha and my sister Alexa. Our mother died today and we were wondering if you would perform the service tomorrow? Yes, there is something you can do. Could you inform the burial society that our mother has passed?
Must make sure the coffin is wood, and it can't have nails. Oh, it must be biodegradable. Make the coffin wood. Don't forget to drill holes in the coffin so the body and earth can be one.
Autopsies are discouraged unless it is required by the law, or if it can save someone's life. The dead body is thought to be impure, so someone who has been near the body has to wash their hands before entering the home. The body cannot be cremated, and if a coffin is used, they have to drill holes in it. The body cannot be seen during the funeral. It might allow enemies to see them in a helpless state. And now we will skip forward to the funeral. At the funeral, be sure to dress nicely, just like you would at a Christian or Muslim funeral. The mourners usually go into the synagogue first. Then the rabbi will gather the mourners and place a black ribbon upon their heart. At the funeral in the synagogue.
My mother loved all of you so much, but she loved her students more than you, as she stayed up countless nights petting her cats and making IB rubrics instead of helping me with my homework.
The funeral continues until all the mourners have finally driven to the grave side in procession. When they get to the grave, the mourners and the funeral guests will watch the casket as it is lowered into the ground. Each will then place dirt onto the casket 3 times and repeat a prayer. Finally, one must wash their hands before leaving the cemetery to purify their souls. After the funeral and burial end, the mourning process continues for the officially designated mourners, parents, children, spouses, or siblings. Now, a close friend or near relative or friend prepares the first meal for the mourners. This meal traditionally consists of eggs, a symbol of life, and bread. After this, condolence calls are permitted.
It's Shiva, Masha. Cover the mirror and take off the makeup.
For the next 7 days, the official mourners will observe Shiva. At this time, the mourners will usually gather at the deceased home and sit on low stools or on the floor instead of chairs, and do not wear leather shoes, do not cut or shave their hair, do not wear cosmetics, do not work, do not do things for comfort or pleasure. The mourners wear clothes that they tore at the time of learning of the death or at the funeral. Mirrors in the home are covered. Prayer services are held where the Shiva is held, with friends, neighbors, and relatives making up the minyan, according to Jewfax. The next period of mourning is known as Shalom 30 because it lasts 30 days after the burial. During this period, the mourners do not shave or cut their hair, do not listen to music, Time should be spent thinking about the deceased. The final period of mourning is avulit, which is observed only for a parent. This period lasts for 12 months after the burial. During that time, mourners avoid party celebrations, theaters, and concerts. For 11 months of that period, starting at the time of the burial, the son of the deceased recites the mourner's Kaddish every day. After the avulit period is complete, the family of the deceased is not permitted to continue the formal mourning. However, there are a few continuing acknowledgments about the descendant. For example, every year on the anniversary of the death, family members observe the deceased Yarzaris, which means anniversary. On the Yarzarit, the sons recite the Kaddish and take Aluet and bless the Torah reading in the synagogue if possible. All mourners light a candle in honor of the descendant that burns for at least 24 hours.